All right, before the break, we asked you, as Prince William chose his brother, Prince Harry, as the best man, but the more traditional term for that role is it supporter, ring bearer, royal man, or page boy? Supporter!
Oh, I was going with E, next up. Or as we call him in the South, Nixon.
Nixon. Susan Maxwell Skinner is here, the quintessential royal expert in the entire Sacramento Valley. We're so thrilled to have you as we replay this wedding over and over and all the lovely romantic moments that it held. It's been very fun to watch.
Did it hold up to what you were expecting? Did you enjoy it?
Yes, I couldn't have enjoyed it more. I was at the last royal wedding, the last wedding of the century. I was there, and I enjoyed this one far more. Guess why? Because I was in my pajamas.
Yes, as many people were, because it began at 3 o'clock in the morning West Coast time, and so, yeah.
And the preamble, of course, is sort of a bit like the Oscars. Half the fun is watching people arrive in their gorgeous hats and gowns.
It is, and speaking of that, you know, of course, Queen Elizabeth II arriving with Prince Philip there in her beautiful yellow ensemble there with her hat, and the bride and her father. She was just stunning in that dress, absolutely stunning. And you were talking about that. It's really a nod to sort of, well, to Princess Grace's dress when she got married. And there were many little nods to Diana, too, along the way, which we found,
and a nod,
charming.
I think, to the majesty of the setting. That medieval-style gown in what is one of the oldest Gothic churches in the world.
I will point out, too, that we noticed as they said each other's names, they got them right. They got them in the right order, because he has 4 names that she had to get through, and she just had the 2, Catherine Elizabeth.
But they're good ones.
They are good ones.
Oh, here's putting the ring. Oh, a little struggle. But it's a little tiny ring, and you said it's very special. Very special. What does that mean?
Made from Welsh gold, the same ingot that has produced the rings of royal brides for at least the last century.
That is amazing. And then as they walk down the aisle as husband and wife to leave the Abbey.
No smooching there.
No smooching. No, they have not yet smooched for the crowd. You know, American weddings, you're smooching all over the place. There's, there's grabbage. There's all kinds of stuff. People are throwing things, like I said, and then they stepped out to the cheers of the crowd.
Oh, yes.
And the bells pealed.
And look at that gown. Spectacular. One of the best royal gowns ever.
It really is. It was just perfect and elegant in every way. And she's just an amazing bride, I think.
It's my understanding, even though Sarah Burton is nominally the designer of the gown, that Kate had huge input to it.
Oh, I'm sure.
She's very interested in fashion. She worked for a fashion chain at one point in her career. And I think she probably, once she saw the setting of Westminster Cathedral, probably had ideas in her mind. She's been an art history student too, so she probably has a lot of historical knowledge.
I like her. Then the moment we all waited for.
There's a kiss.
Yay, that was the second kiss.
That's the second kiss,
because it was longer.
It was only 3 Mississippi. You're counting fast.
And then the royal flyover. The whole wedding was so perfectly executed from the beginning to end. Even the weather cooperated, and there were predictions of thunderstorms and lightning and things. But even if it was gray and overcast, which is often the case in London, I understand, it was beautiful for the crowds and for the couple themselves. They're just beautiful. I just love these two, and I have such high hopes for them as a couple, as I'm sure all Britons do.
Very important that this marriage works. That they do say, and they love these cliches, upon the slender shoulders of Kate Middleton rests the future of the monarchy.
Wowie.
I wouldn't be quite that purple in my prose, but it's certainly important that this marriage succeeds.
That's a lot of pressure. Hey, by the way, we want to thank Susan again for being here. Thank you so much for getting up early with us. I know you've been up all night watching all the procedures and all of the processions. And if you would like to reach Susan, she is an author. She does speaking engagements and motivational speaking as well. You can reach her on her website, susanmaxwellskinner.com. You can also reach her on the phone, 916-481-0334, and we've got all of that linked to our website, gooddaysacramento.com. Click on show info right there at the top.
She was feverishly typing an article for the Bee. Maybe some typos in it, because you had to get it out quickly.
I'm not sure it'll be in papers. It's probably going to be on their blog. They asked me to compare my feelings about this wedding and the previous one that I attended, and I made the point that I enjoyed it far more. That the bride looked happier.
Yes.
because she knew her husband loved her.
Yeah.
And that it was just such a marvelous incongruity when you compare with the carriage processions to the cathedral in Diana's wedding, that this time all these minibuses rolled out and all these superannuated royals climbed out in their bespoke garments and clambered into the hall like overdressed tourists.
Well, it turned out beautifully, and thank you so much for your insight. It was
Absolutely
fantastic.
my pleasure.
Thank you so much.
What a wonderful day.
How about that draft last night? How about those Niners? Those Niners didn't go for a quarterback.
Cam Newton, #1.
Let's get to Tina Check Traffic, and we'll get all over that coming up.
Thanks, Susan.
Let's get to Tina.